Good morning, students. Welcome to a session on financial plan. We will do a recap of what we learned in the previous class. In the previous class, we have understood about the production plan, operation plan, general introduction stuff. General introduction was done long back, after which I made you understand about the production plan, which is classified into three. That is your complete manufacturing, partial manufacturing, and no manufacturing involved at all. Then we understood the process of operating plan, the steps involved in operating plan like your routing, scheduling, follow-up and all those things. After the production plan and operational plan, the most important plan that we are going to learn is about the financial plan. Now, how do we understand this financial plan? How to develop a financial plan? Financial plan, the importance or the significance of finance cannot be overlooked at all. I have on many occasions explained to you that financial plan is like the lifeblood. Finance is the lifeblood of the business. And if you don't have a proper financial plan, you don't know how you are going to handle money, then there's no point that you are an entrepreneur. This is the most significant and the most crucial area where you should be able to have an estimate or an idea of how much of money is involved in starting up your venture. No doubt the talent of the entrepreneur, the innovative and the creative abilities of the entrepreneur are very, very important. But to bring his desire into action, finance is the most important and critical requirement. Now, when we talk about how to developing a sound plan, whenever a person is drafting a financial plan, he has to keep three important facts. He has to remember three important facts. What are those facts? First fact is, what is the financial requirement? It all depends upon the nature of the business or the kind of product that you are trying to manufacture or the kind of service that you are trying to get intended into. Now, when we talk about the kind of business, if it is a sole proprietor, you all people are quite aware of the fact that to start a sole proprietorship, a large amount of funding is not required. Similarly, not much funds are involved in a partnership. But when we talk about, unless it is a very big LLP, but when we talk about bigger businesses like private company or public company, there is a large amount of money involved in it. So how much of financial is your requirement? Depends upon the category, type of business, and also the kind of product that you are manufacturing into. See, we will have great examples with our last year's syllabus, where I told you that Narayan Murthy started Infosys with only just 10,000 rupees. Same way, Ambani also started his business with an approximate amount of 50,000 rupees. So it is not that you need to have large amount of funds, but you need to know how much amount of fund you need. How much is the question here? How much is your requirement? When I say financial requirement, I am intending to explain about the question how. How much money do you need? Do you need 5 lakhs to start? Do you need 20 lakhs to start? Do you need 20 million to start? How much is the amount that is required for the purpose of starting the business? That clarity a person should have before starting the business. So that is the first requirement of a financial plan. Second, if you have decided how much, then the next question comes is where. From where are you going to generate the funds? From which location? From either it is going to be the owner's fund or it is going to be the borrowed funds, or is there any backup? Is there any security with you, any kind of property? Or you are going to approach the stock exchange, venture capitalist? From where are you going to get the money, right? And then there is one more thing, like how are you going to spend it, right? You have to have an exact assessment of how much of revenue, how much of cost, how much of inventory is involved, a proper analysis of cash ratio statements and cash flow requirements, your profits, all these things you have to project. In the third requirement, I am simply intending to say that I want to start a chocolate business. How much is the money required? Maybe I require 20 lakhs to start the business. From where am I going to get that? Oh, I am going to get it from the owner's fund a little bit and a certain portion of it from the borrowed fund. Now, how are you going to spend the money? I will have machines installed, I will have the raw material purchased, I will have the labor charges paid, I will have the electricity bill. So finally, how much profit you will make? That also you should make an estimate. See, always the exact assessment is, when you plan something, you are thinking in advance. So if you expect an exact assessment, maybe there is a question that you will ask, that how can planning be exactly accurate? It need not be accurate, but your assessment should be fair enough. It should be fair enough, genuine, right? Now, when we talk about financial plan, look at the diagram. This diagram clearly interlinks these questions. The questions that we have discussed are always interlinked. funds are required. These funds to get converted into revenue, the money that you are putting in business, for getting it converted into a revenue or profit, you need to do something called investment. First you should put 1 rupee, then you can gain the profit of 100 rupees. First initially you have to put that 1 rupee. Na? So for this funding is investment that is getting converted into revenue. Now in today's class, actually when you talk about the components of financial plan, we have the proformas, proforma investment decision, proforma financial decision, proforma income statement, proforma cash flow analysis, proforma break-even point, proforma balance sheet, and social and economic variables. In today's class, I'll try to cover the first 3 proformas alone. And day after tomorrow's class, we will see the other proformas. Alright? So once again. The first, as I told you in the diagram clearly starts with the investment. Right. Now let us see the proforma investment. How to go with the proforma investment decision. Proforma investment decision is nothing but it is related to something called it actually covers 2 aspects. One is the fixed capital aspect and another one is the working capital aspect. Those students who do not belong to the mainstream of commerce may have a little bit confusion, or you may have forgotten the terminologies like fixed and working. Fixed is something that is going to stay in your business for a period of more than 1 year, and it involves a large amount of money. Working is something that is used for your day-to-day operations. It does not stay in your business for beyond a year. Right? So the fixed and working capital. So the investment that is required, we are talking about fixed capital and working capital. So this clearly says that the amount that is invested in land and buildings, right? The amount that is invested in machinery, in installation charges, you know, all those things in a factory, right? And then you have other expenses like raw material, inventory, all these come under how much of money you are going to allot. Suppose I have 10 lakhs, in this 10 lakhs I am going to start the business, 1 lakh will go away for land and building, around 40,000 will go away for machinery, installation charges may be 5,000 or 6,000 for the machinery, and then the factory setup maybe charges me 2 lakhs, and then there is raw material requirement of another 1.5 lakh. So you have to segregate and tell me how much of money you are going to put it in fixed and working. That is called proforma investment decision. See, remember one thing, again I am repeating, just because I am using the word proforma, it doesn't mean that you already done it. It is, you are planning it in advance, you are thinking in advance. Suppose you start a chocolate business, suppose you are going to invest, then you need, these are all the requirements. Depending upon, again this is also very dependent upon the nature. There are certain businesses like trading where you don't have to have land and building, probably machinery is not required. So it depends upon the purpose. It is not a hard and fast rule that every organization that is started should have a list of fixed assets and working capital. No, it's not like that. Right? So this is with regard to the proforma investment decision. The amount that you are going to invest in the business should be for could be for land, building, installation, machinery, comes under proforma investment decision. Then comes your next category, that is proforma of sources of funds. From where are you going to get? I think I have misspelled. Just a second, students. Proforma for sources of funds is referred to as proforma financing decisions. When I say proforma financing decision, I am talking about owner's funds and borrowed funds. See what percentage of that 20 lakh or 10 lakh will I get my own money, and certain how much percentage am I going to get it from an outside source. That becomes very important. how much of money from my own source and how much of money from a borrowed source. Now when we talk about this, you have to make sure about two things. Always they say that the perfect ratio to do a financial decision, if you are a financial, if you are the chief financial officer, or if you are planning about having a very good fantastic business, then usually the ideal ratio is 2:1. Debt equity ratio should always be 2:1, but practically in most cases you can't achieve it. But despite of not achieving it, you may make a wonderful business. So it is not a hard and fast rule. It is good if it is there. Even if it doesn't matter. You know why? Because this ratio largely depends upon various factors. Suppose you want to borrow funds but there is no loan availability or the interest charges are quite high, and then you are able to have easily the ownership fund through stock exchange, then why not give it a try? So it all depends upon the critical situation, the economic position in the country, the inflation that is circulating, lot of factors are involved in it. So let us not go deep into it, but try to understand that there are two sources of funds, owner's fund and borrowed fund. You have to have a combination of it. There are students who come down and write the project saying that completely ownership funds only they have put. That is your choice. Completely borrowed funds only you have put. That is also another your choice. You cannot put 100% borrowed funds. You have to have a minimum percentage of your own ownership fund, because otherwise if you are not contributing towards capital, then you are no more the owner of the business. You are not the entrepreneur. The person who gave money for the capital is owner, responsible for the ownership. Now, let's try to understand the owner's fund and borrowed fund. What is the percentage? You should have a combination that is more suitable for your business in such a way that the return on investment, the ROI, the return on such an investment that you have made should be high. Alright? At the same time, risk and cost involved should be low. The cost and the risk involved in conducting the business, in having a combination of owner's fund and borrowed fund should be very, very low. However, the return on investment or the profit that you are expecting out of the business because of the combination should be very, very high. The rate of return should be high, however the amount of risk should be less and the amount of cost involved should be less. So it largely depends. When we, to give you a broad idea, borrowed funds are easy. They are an easy way. Okay, this is the most difficult way to achieve. Difficult way to get funds is ownership fund. The easy way to get funds is borrowed funds. But owner's fund does not involve risk. Borrowed funds involves a high level of financial risk because you have to pay something called interest. Here you pay something called dividend. Dividend can be paid only if there is profit. However, despite of having a loss, you will have to pay the interest. So you have to understand whether how is your prediction going to go. Right? So this is your pro forma financial decision. Today's class we have seen two pro forma students. One is pro forma investment decision. Another one is pro forma financial decision. Right. Pro forma investment decision is done, pro forma financial decision is done. Now we will go into the next pro forma, that is pro forma income statement. See students, in the grade 11 we have learned the Savita Sari Shop example. Do you remember where we have? Here it is nothing but I am going to have a projected sales calculated. I will calculate the projected sales. Okay, and after calculating the projected sales, what I will do is I will remove or reduce or minus my expenses related to making such a sale, and what I arrive at is referred to as profit, and this is calculated on monthly basis. This is a monthly, that is you have to calculate. In your project purposes you will have to do this statement for for the 13th month also. So that is you are functioning your business from April to next April, that is 12 months, one annual year, and then you have to make it for the 13th year also. 13th month also, right? So it is very simple. It is calculated based on the concept of projected sales, and again you need not be, it is not compulsory to be conservative. You know the conservative approach. I don't have to explain it again and again. Conservating is playing safe. You don't have to have a conservative approach for the purpose of preparing your pro forma income statement. You can be, you can comfortably You can go ahead and do the projected sales as you are expecting the sale to happen. You need not hide the figures. You can be very liberal. You can have the confidence that I will be able to sell 100 units of a product in April. I will be able to sell 300 units of product in the immediate next month, that is after April, May. Then I will be able to sell 400 units in June. It is all depending upon your confidence level and the amount of market research that you have done. Maybe you have a positive trend in the market and people are already, the sample is a click, or probably you're expecting the sale to be going up. You are already having few orders in hand even before the business has started. So all these things may largely contribute for you to frame the projected sales. Projected sales is usually an estimated or assumed figure, and you need not be very conservative in this. So today we have learned 3 proformas. Let me do the concluding session, because the next 3 proformas we will see in the next class. So today's class, what did we learn? We understood that financial plan is like the lifeblood of business, without which you cannot make your desire come into action. Then we also understood about the diagram related to financial plan, that is funds, revenue, investment. You invest money, that is in the form of funds, then revenue will be generated. And then we understood the 3 important factors that related to how to develop a sound plan, how the funds you are going to get, from where are you going to get, and the category like how you are going to spend it. These 3 are very, very important to getting the exact assessment of stock, inventory, cash flow statement, profit, all these things. Your liquidity position, how you are going to maintain the liquidity. Then we try to understand the components of financial plan, which are classified or divided into proformas. Proforma investment decision talks about your investment in working and fixed capital like land and machinery, building, installation charges, raw material. Proforma financial decision will talk about your availability of funds through borrowed funds or owner's fund, and how much of risk is involved in each category and which is the best combination for you. And then we learned and understood about the proforma cash flow, proforma income statement, where you are projecting or calculating your sales, monthly sales, and you are eliminating all the expenses related to the sales. With this, we will stop for today's class and we will continue in tomorrow's class. Thank you and have a fantastic day.